announce somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, because somebody's gonna have to call it to order technically.
You want to call it to order?
Mark's gonna do it, and then
I'll just,
chairman.
okay, call it to order and ask for the chairman.
Pledge of allegiance.
Okay. Okay. All right. As the admin, I'll just call the meeting to order if you'd stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all for coming. Currently, the Madam Mayor is not here tonight and President Pro Temp is not as well. So council will need to designate someone to lead the meeting.
I move that we appoint Holly Merrick as President Pro Tempore.
I second that motion. Would you call for a vote, please?
Roll call.
So we got Jerry first. Stephen second. Bob Cook,
Yeah.
Sally Bell. Yes. Stephen Kaufman,
Yes.
Ed Colville, Holly Merrick,
Okay,
Gary Meehan.
Yes.
all right, any additions or corrections to the agenda? I feel like there's more people in the audience than are up here. All right, hearing none, we'll move on to, well, we should approve the agenda. So let's do that first. Roll call, please.
I need a, oh, no, we don't approve the agenda.
You're talking
You need to
minutes.
approve the
Only
minutes.
if there's.
All right,
changes.
so let's go on to item number 5, review and approval of the minutes, both of our work session and our council meeting on November 5th.
Madam Pro Tem, I move that we approve the minutes of our previous meeting of November 5th and our work session of November 5th.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Gary. Roll call, please.
Bob Cook,
Yes.
Sally Bell. Yes. Stephen Kaufman,
Yes.
Holly Merrick,
Yes.
Gary Meehan.
Yes.
So we'll open it up for visitor comments. This is the only opportunity tonight that you will have. You may have up to 3 minutes. Please tell us your lot number and your name, and we'll go from there. Any takers?
I have a comment, Matt. I had a conversation with, some of the people may not know that Ed had a minor stroke.
Thank you.
Okay, he went into Geauga and then he's got a rehabilitation outside of Beechwood. Okay, I spoke with him. I plan to see him tomorrow. He's doing much better, building up strength in his left side.
Excellent. Thank you for that report.
1075.
1075, thank you, Mr. Kaufman. Any other comments? Sure. Please. And do you live in the village?
Good evening. I am Wendy Sintik. I am from Rock Creek. I am council-elect over there. We'll be starting in January. I am here with our mayor-elect, David Draves. I really just wanted to introduce myself to everybody and let you know that if there's something that we want to work together or can work together in the future, we are certainly open to that and would love to hear from you. So that's it. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That's great news.
Any others? Very well, we'll move on to administrative staff reports. I do not have a mayor's report. Did anyone else receive one?
Did not.
The treasurer's report?
In the council packet is the financial report ending September 30th. That puts us at 75% through the year. So looking through the revenue status, the general fund, the property tax came in just below 100%, so that was at 92%. But with our state allocation that we received, and then also some, the zoning is well over what we anticipated. The general fund is actually at 106% already. So we're doing very well there. Looking down to the streets, they're right on track as well, sitting around 75 to 80% for everything. So the fund itself is at 80.
I prefer to ask the questions when we get to that point. Okay. I did see your email, Mark, earlier today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Fair enough. All right, police chief's report is in your packet. Any questions that we need to send back to him?
I had a question on the police report. It looked like there was a Safe Communities banquet. Was there an award or a celebration that we should be having with our police department?
The one I have every year.
Okay, okay. All right, thank you.
Very good. Did the solicitor send any reporting to?
He did not.
Okay. We'll move on to committees and commission reports. Finance Committee.
There were Kiri, Joyce Miznick, who's council-elect, and I met on November 12th. Kiri pretty much covered where we are currently in status for the budget this year. We did talk about 2026. Again, I think she did a good job of covering that. We may meet in early December if needed, otherwise that would be our last finance meeting for the year.
Very good. Public Works Committee.
Next meeting is 12/5/25 at 5 p.m.
Well, what?
12/5/25
Thank you.
at 5.
At 5. All right. Planning Commission.
Next meeting is 12/10/25 at 7 p.m.
I have a question around that. A few meetings ago, we sent it was the zoning and maintenance, I think that's the one that was called, it was the one with the pools in the front yard.
The building.
I'm sorry, the building.
Yep.
Okay, so where does that stand? Have they met to talk about it or?
Do you want to touch it? The planning commission just met last week, I believe it was, and went through the things that were sent back from council. And that has been completed. And once we have another work session, that will be brought back up.
So when you say work session, you mean our council?
Council work session, correct.
Thank you. They seem like pretty straightforward things to fix. Okay.
A couple of them were more complicated just because, the discussion led them to be more complicated.
And also there is some re-review being done on the dam maintenance activity being done currently in the engineering report on the dam. You want to allude to anything on that
From the Public Works Committee?
Oh, okay.
you sort of
That or
passed
just-
it before you had a chance.
I didn't know you wanted me to talk about it. Did you want me, what did you specifically, did you want me to
Just that
speak on?
we're re-evaluating at this point, okay, the actual location of the.
Oh, that was,
Thank you for the word.
okay. So a question that came up,
The zombie. P.
piezometer.
Piezometer.
So
Spell it? P-I-E-S-E. Thanks.
So-
Lucky I could pronounce it. I know. Go on, I'm sorry.
the question arose from the Public Works Committee in the last meeting that we just had this month. We have a force main sewer line that runs through the dam. We were questioning where the location of that line was. It has been identified by ODNR and DLZ, the contract engineers that we're working with. So they're evaluating those drawings before they start drilling and adding our new piezometers.
Thank you. I just wanted, because I know we had told them that they were going to be doing these drilling.
Mhm.
We may have to delay it based upon weather and or location at this point until the spring. Unless you want to.
We'll see.
Okay.
All right, Records Committee,
No
Commission?
update.
No meeting?
No update.
All right. We'll move on to special committee and liaison reports. Strategic Planning Committee, I think we have an ordinance or a resolution now.
Yeah, so, we actually had our last meeting yesterday. We did a wrap up of it. One of the things that came up at the work session at the last meeting was, Steve, I think it was your question around, what we were calling guidelines or aspirational goals. So I did add them back in for that discussion. So I sent out an email and I distributed it in each of your seats. Page 12 of the plan, so just staple that to the back. It's the first reading of this, not the second reading, which is what I think Chris had said. But it is the first reading tonight. And the committee is asking for a yes vote on this so that we have a great roadmap starting in January going forward. Any questions on that? Okay.
Very good. RRA?
The only thing informationally, they started working on the clubhouse. I have to see pictures of it. So they're moving ahead with it at this point.
Very good. And at your seat are two reports that Mr. Kozel sent forward from SCAD for your review. We'll move on to legislation then. First item is Resolution 2025-10-01R, a resolution adopting a cybersecurity policy for the Village of Roaming Shores and not declaring it an emergency. It has been tabled. Mr. Reed, status?
I'm still working with our cybersecurity specialists that we contract with. Had a phone call with them earlier, yesterday, Monday. They will have that information to us within the next week. So by the next meeting, I should have the full entire cybersecurity policy in front of council.
And then I think you'll feel more comfortable voting on it. All right, secondly, ordinance 2025-10-03, an ordinance approving the police department's salary scale for fiscal years 2026 through 2030. Attached here too, it is not attached to your documents today unless you brought it with you, and incorporated herein and not declaring it an emergency. It's in its third reading.
I call for a vote on it.
Second.
You don't have to call for a vote. We just need a motion to approve it.
Or a motion to act.
A motion to act. I motion we act.
And Gary will second
Second.
it. Very good. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Cook,
Yes.
Sally Phil,
Yes.
Stephen Kaufman,
Yes.
Holly Meredith,
Yes.
Jeremy,
Yes.
Very good. Ordinance 2025-11-01, an ordinance modifying and replacing all prior ordinances for the monthly assessment fee of $5 charged per lot to $9 per lot, including active lots built within the Village of Roaming Shores for the purpose of accumulating funds into Fund Number 4903, sewer capital improvement for the infrastructure projects within the village, said fee to commence on January 1st, 2026, to appear for billing period beginning February 1, 2026, and not declaring it as an emergency. It was requested by council and in its first reading. Ordinance 2025-11-02, an ordinance authorizing the village administrator to enter into an agreement with Suit Coat Corporation of Meadville, Pennsylvania, in the amount of $63,189.49 for seal coat, fog seal, and crack fill services for Flame Lake Drive, Morningstar Drive, Beaver Dam Road, and Calendar Road, and not declaring it as an emergency. It's been requested by the administrator in its first reading, and you have documentation in your packet.
So this is the one where I've got some questions, and I'll state, quite frankly, I'm having trouble with this particular ordinance in the sense that, particularly with Flame Lake, it's, from what I read and looking at the details, it looks like we are paving over Flame Lake, which is asphalt, with the chip and seal. I'm wondering when last that was paved, and I'm thinking 2020, 21, Dwayne, you may know? It was 21. So we have a road that was paved with asphalt 4 years ago, and we're looking to pave it again with chip and seal. I took a walk on Sunday morning down that road. I don't see any potholes. I don't see cracks. I'm just having a hard time with spending that amount of money on a road from what I can see. Now, granted, I'm not an expert in road paving. That seems to be fine. So,
Sally, the only thing is there's a section from, I think, North Park towards the intersection that was done later than that.
okay, so it's even newer.
Yeah,
No.
it says right in here, from
It was
South
done-
Park to Morningstar,
Yeah.
which would be.
Was done prior to that section.
Okay,
I'm just
yeah, I
giving you all the
appreciate that.
information.
Yeah, and that's what I'm looking for, is more detail, more
That was
information.
2 years before, 20?
It's
That would be
still-
2 years before, that would have been 2018, that section.
But it was done according to the requirements of the state to make it, because it wasn't that with the state project we did.
That was a public works project.
Public Works project, so we brought it up to code, okay? Are we saying, and I will be honest, I have not walked, I don't walk over there because I live the other way exactly, but
Opposite corner.
exactly the opposite corner, but are we saying that that road is not holding up between 5 and 7 years later?
No,
So, can I talk?
Please, Chief.
So the area, Mark, and correct me if I'm wrong, the area that you're speaking of is the part that has not been done on Flame Lake, which is south of South Park. Basically 200 yards past South Park, going towards Morningstar, that has not been touched. That area there still needs to be addressed, going around the Morningstar Loop to Beaver Dam over to Callender. Now, there are portions in the very first stage that was done initially, and I want to believe it was 2014, that first stage was done. The center line is actually breaking down, and that seal needs to be addressed. Now, that would be something that could be looked at adding on to this as well. But the part that you're looking at is what has not been touched.
so for the project that's presented in front of council today, that is correct. And I know that some advocates out there want asphalt paving. It's 3 times the cost. So what I'm trying to do is, as we finish the boulevard, which is village owned property, we've completed that. And then what I want to do is finish this section of road that I presented to you today. And then in the fall of next year into 27, depending on budgets, I would like to do the rest of the village owned roads and then put us into a 4-year maintenance plan, chip and sealing those roads, so we don't get to the point of deteriorating roads in the future.
Again, I go back to, if we have a road that was just paved with asphalt 4 years ago, if we're going into even this maintenance mode, that it's necessary to do so over perfectly good asphalt.
Well,
That-
this,
I don't want to
this
see that.
is paving, he's talking about doing the stretch that wasn't done 5
Right,
years
I
ago.
understand
Right.
that, but he just said getting into the maintenance road where all the roads are chip and sealed on a regular basis,
Mhm.
the next year or the year after?
Correct.
Yes.
Either next fall or the year after.
By that time, that road that was just done won't be 4 years, it'll be 5 or 6 years. Again, I'm just concerned that we're spending money doing this when it's not needed on the road. So, I'll get with you, Mark, with more questions
Sure.
and would appreciate it. And if you could look into, you know, just what are the cost differences?
I have already sent out for a quote, Sally.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Mark, was this quote based upon the entire project?
This is the spring project that I have planned, which is starting at Flame Lake and going down Callender.
So cutting off a piece of this could have an impact on the overall,
Oh, yeah.
the cost per
Yes,
cost per foot or
Yeah.
square foot.
yes,
Square
but
yard.
just reminder though, that eventually, even though we do have that portion paved, it is going to either need chip and seal down the road to continue with the maintenance plan to keep it the way it is. And keep it sound. So I'd rather get us on a maintenance plan, as we've seen a lot of turnover in Roaming Shores' administration in the past, to where things might have gotten left behind. So I want to make sure that everything's in a plan that we can continue moving forward with in the village. And I think it's extremely important for the fact that we just did a strategic plan, and adding on to that, it may be incorporating.
The request is not to declare it as an emergency, and so we'll get those questions answered and the quote updated and be ready for the second reading.
I will add, the strategic plan was to make sure that our labor, resources, materials, and budget are focused on the top priority projects. So if it's not in the strategic plan, we should think really hard about if the monies need to be spent there, because if they're spent in one place, they're not being spent on the items in the strategic plan. So
But these are road dollars and can only be used for roads.
I understand that. I think also we're talking about the materials. So if it can only be used for roads and we can find a better material than chip and seal, I think we should do so.
Well, speaking as a person who lives on a road and chip and seal by the association, I don't have a problem. It works quite well.
I've had a different experience.
And just to touch on that, we did bring it up in the Public Works meeting, so I guess I should state this. So when we did the boulevard, we actually had the chip and seal done by a different company. Reached out to the RRA on who they've used in the past to try to link us together. And the Suit Coat is who the RRA is currently using for their chip and seal program, along with fog coating. So those roads that we're looking to do will be identical to the RRA roads. So everything will be in unison.
One more comment to add to that on behalf of the association. They recognized 4 years ago, 3 years ago, that they use sub-quality materials and a process in their chip and seal, resulting in gobs of extra sand and extra chips or pieces of material, and it was a really bad situation. That's why they have reinvested their effort and their time and activities to do something a little better. I will say that last year's they did nothing. The year before they did our street with the new process, and it was significantly better than the old process. I don't know how it relates to bicyclists or other things, but I will say that it is better than what I saw 4 years ago. Your street was awful. Okay, meaning Sally, your street was bad when they did real bad.
Any other comments on ordinance 2025-1102? We'll move on to ordinance 2025-11-03. Approval and granting consent to the Director of the Ohio Department of Transportation Authority to apply, maintain, and repair standard longitudinal pavement markings and erect regulatory and warning signs on state highways inside of Roaming Shores corporate limits, and giving consent of the village for the Ohio Department of Transportation to remove snow and ice and use snow and ice control material on state highways inside the village corporate limits, and giving consent to the village for the Ohio Department of Transportation to perform maintenance and or repair on state highways inside the village corporation. This is requested by the administrator and in its first reading.
So this is an ordinance that was sent to me by the state. This is just pertaining to the little bit of Roaming Shores that is on Route 6. So the state needs this permission just to be able to do the ice control and snow removal. On that ordinance in the second reading, I've already talked to Carrie about it. We are going to have to add to that ordinance that the administrator on page 3 is able to authorize that work with the state.
Any other questions, concerns?
When does this have to be passed by?
There's no timestamp on it. They just needed it updated.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
That's indicating that we've done this before in the past at some point. 'cause
Right.
This is the first I've seen of it.
That's how long ago it needed to be updated.
I believe the documents state 2021 was the last time that they've done this agreement. So,
All right, moving on to ordinance 2025-11-04. An ordinance authorizing the village administrator to execute task order 2025-04 with Verantis LLC for engineering services for the ground storage tank and booster station design project in the village of Roaming Shores in the sum of $182,000 and not declaring it as an emergency requested by the administrator. First reading.
My question is do we have the $182,000?
yeah, so when you take on a project like this is the design and engineering phase. Once it goes into the construction loan, it then rolls into the construction loan. We have everything moving forward with the OPWC monies and then Warsla on these two projects that you're going to see tonight. These were all identified to you in a presentation from Verdantis recently this year. And everything's been talked through with the fiscal and then also the amount that we absorbed for the infrastructure fees would be able to pay for this project.
Gary, that was the main reason for several years ago passing the water.
I just wanted to make sure that we had that much encumbered already.
We actually do, and it was right on target.
Yeah. And a positive to it, Gary, if I didn't mention it when I gave my little spiel there, we do not start paying back the funds for that project until a year after construction is completed. So this will push out 3 to 4 years.
But we have to make sure that everything's in place.
Correct. Correct.
We'll move on to ordinance 2025-11-05, an ordinance authorizing the village administrator to execute task order 2025-05 with Verantis LLC for engineering services for the wastewater treatment plant improvement project in the village of Roaming Shores in the sum of $47,000 and not declaring it an emergency, requested by the administrator. First reading. Moving on to resolution 2025-11-06R, a resolution approving the village of Roaming Shores strategic plan for fiscal years 2026 through 2030. Attached hereto and incorporated herein. It is in your packet, and there is a page that was referred to a little bit ago that should be stapled to the back, including guidelines. Any discussion? Very well. Old business, point of sale. There's a memo in your packet.
So, Stephen, I'll jump into this with you here. Presented previously was the point of sale. It was sent back to the Public Works Committee. Public Works spoke on the point of sale, and we discussed the challenges that were the cost of potential residents going into a point of sale inspection for a smoke test. So what we did was we discussed different opportunities. We removed the smoke test and dye test from what the residents would have to pay for with a contractor because there were so limited options to the residents if they were to pass this resolution or ordinance. And we moved the smoke and or dye test to the back page, which is now the Village of Roaming Shores utility portion. So if this was passed, the village would be doing the smoke and or dye test of the plumbing and drainage system. That way we could buy the materials in bulk and be able to provide that service for the residents without them having to contract that out.
So if that's done, the village does it, it's still up to the homeowner to fix if any problems or negotiate. Is that correct?
Absolutely. If
Thank you.
the smoke and the dye test material, just so, because it was mentioned, we can buy it as a village, is negligible. I don't want anyone to think that this is a gallons of this stuff or will be pennies. Okay, now there is a labor involvement, but that falls into the same aspect of us verifying the water meter and doing all the important things. And if we get to, if this actually does what it's supposed to do and identifies hookups that are incorrectly putting stormwater into our wastewater system, it will go a long way to help us in the future in expenses.
It'll help with our I&I issue.
Definitely. I'll also point out that I will be upfront. Did we add into this like we were supposed to, the fact that if they do a homeowner's inspection, that the homeowner's inspector can inspect the parts of this that were necessary?
No, I didn't add anything else to it, just for the aspect of I wanted to leave it as simple as possible to them still having to have an inspector do their portion without overcomplicating the document.
So at this point, we've accomplished what we're trying to do. We really have addressed the water, the sewer, okay, and we can be comfortable that our village position is maintained comfortably without an overdue expense. I'd like, if there aren't any more comments on this, I'd like to push it back to our solicitor to put into a motion, to move that we put it into a ordinance.
I'll
Okay.
second that.
Okay. Request to have the solicitor create an ordinance to adopt the point of sale. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Bob Cook,
Yes.
Shelley Bell,
Yes.
Stephen Kaufman,
Yes.
Ollie Meredith,
Yes.
Jerry Meehan,
Yes.
Any other old business? Any new business? Hearing none, you have bills in your packet for review. Any questions there for the clerk or administrator? We'll accept the bills. All right, I need someone to approve a motion to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official. And would ask that council members stay, and we will not be taking action following that meeting, so the public could leave.
I so move.
Can I ask a question before we leave?
If I second
We have a
it,
motion on the
if I
floor.
second it, then we can have
Yeah.
a discussion. So I'll
Yeah.
second it.
Thank you, Sally.
What's your question?
Bob, what's the question?
Okay, my question is everybody aware of what we're gonna do next meeting with the interview process?
You want
That's,
to
oh,
address,
that should have been addressed in new business, I'm sorry.
you want to address what our next meeting is?
Sure.
You wanna touch on that?
Yes, sir. So the December 2nd meeting, which will be the next scheduled meeting, has been updated. Instead of doing a work session at 6 p.m., we will be conducting our interviews for the fiscal officer position. We will have 2 candidates coming in for interviews slotted at 45 minutes apiece. And then the regular meeting has been pushed up to 7:30 p.m.
And that will put us in executive session for the work, for the meeting.
if called, correct.
Okay. I think we should plan on an executive session, so it would not be open to the public.
So the initial-
Just clarify that because
So-
I was confused.
So the initial meeting at 6 PM is open to the public. It's an open public meeting. At that point, council may call an executive session to discuss the appointment and so forth as described in executive session. But it is an open meeting to start with.
So from from the public's point of view, if they show up to that meeting at 6 o'clock, they could be there maybe 3 minutes, and then the council would go into executive session.
Correct.
And they would be asked to leave.
Correct.
So just so they are aware, and then at 7:30, regular council meeting will start, and the public definitely could attend.
Correct.
And if council notifies me ahead of time of their intention in going into executive session, the agenda could reflect executive session is going to be the topic of the special meeting.
And can't we notify you tonight?
Yeah.
If we're going to go into executive session, I recommend we notify her tonight so that everybody it gets done and we don't have any confusion and everyone knows our meeting starts for the public's purpose at 7:30.
Thank you.
So the
You have to
special
vote on
meeting
that?
at
So-
6 PM, the agenda item is executive session.
The agenda item should be for the interview process for fiscal officer, and I would add executive session to the agenda with that item, because it is still an open meeting until it's called.
We're stating our intention to call it.
That's
Okay.
fine, but it's still an open meeting. It needs to be stated so.
Do we need to vote on that or is it? We don't need to vote.
Because we already have a motion on the floor to go into executive session
For tonight,
for tonight. And we've given instruction for our next meeting. All right, so roll call, please.
Bob Cook,
Yes.
Sally Bell,
Yes.
Stephen Kaufman,
yes.
Holly Meredith,
Yes,
Gary Neal.
Yes.
thank you everyone for coming.
Take 5 minutes break.
Sure,
E break.
sure.